Why does it feel like most people are running in place financially, no matter how hard they work? We're all told the same story: go to school, get a good job, save a little money. But is that path actually leading to freedom, or is it just a treadmill in disguise? The brutal reason most people will never build real wealth has less to do with their paycheck and everything to do with an invisible script they've been handed. It's a set of rules and mental traps designed to keep you as a consumer, not a creator. The data is pretty shocking. In 2025, about 53% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And this isn't just a low-income issue. Even among people who make good money, the struggle is real. For instance, a recent survey found that even in households earning over $100,000, a significant portion still feel financially insecure. It's not an accident. It's a system. In this video, we're going to tear that script apart. We'll expose the 4 biggest traps, the mindsets, the habits, and the hidden rules of the game that keep most people in a state of financial stress. And most importantly, I'm going to give you the playbook to finally break free. The first and most powerful trap isn't in your wallet, it's in your head. It's the scarcity mindset. This is the deep-seated belief that there's just never enough. Not enough money, not enough opportunity, not enough time. When you live in a state of scarcity, it fundamentally changes how you make decisions. You stop thinking about long-term growth and focus only on short-term survival. This mindset makes you see money as something to be afraid of and hoard, not as a tool to grow and use. Ever wonder why some people talk about money like it's the enemy? That often comes from a scarcity viewpoint, where if someone else gets rich, it must mean there's less for you. This leads to a crippling fear of risk. People trapped in scarcity are terrified of losing the little they have. They look at the stock market not as the greatest wealth-building tool in history, but as a giant casino where you're guaranteed to lose. But here's the irony. Avoiding risk is the riskiest thing you can do with your money. By keeping your cash safe in a savings account, you are guaranteeing that it loses value every single day to inflation. This is a well-known concept in behavioral economics called loss aversion. The pain of a loss feels about twice as bad as the pleasure of a gain. People get so fixated on avoiding small losses that they miss out on massive potential gains. They'll work for 40 years in a job they hate for a small, steady paycheck, instead of taking a smart risk on a business idea or an investment that could completely change their life. The invisible script tells you to protect what you have at all costs, which just ensures you never have much to protect in the first place. Your mindset shapes your habits, and no habit is more destructive to building wealth than the casual acceptance of debt. Society has done a brilliant job of reframing debt. You're not going into debt, you're financing your lifestyle. It all starts with the consumer cycle. You're hit with thousands of ads a day telling you that you're not good enough. You need a newer car, a new phone, a new wardrobe to feel happy and successful. And the solution is always the same: buy it now, worry about it later. The numbers are just staggering. As of the second quarter of 2025, total household debt in the US ballooned to a record $18.39 trillion. Credit card debt alone has hit over $1.2 trillion, and the average interest rate on those cards that carry a balance is now over 22%. We've been trained to crave instant gratification. We want the reward without the work, the lifestyle without the income. A credit card is the perfect tool for that, and it creates a cycle that's nearly impossible to escape. Your paycheck comes in, but it's already gone, spoken for by the mortgage, the car payment, student loans, and the minimum payments on your credit cards. This is the very definition of the rat race. You work harder and harder, but you're not getting ahead because every extra dollar you make gets eaten up by debt or a slightly nicer lifestyle. The wealthy, on the other hand, use debt differently. They borrow money to buy assets that generate more money, like real estate or businesses. The poor and middle class borrow money to buy liabilities that lose value, like cars, electronics, and vacations. One path leads to freedom, the other leads to a lifetime of working for the bank. Look, if this is making sense to you and you're ready to start writing your own financial story, do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Wealth Saga. Our whole mission here is to give you the playbook for building real, lasting wealth. Let's do this together. Now, it would be simple to say that getting rich is all about mindset and habits. But that's only half the picture. We have to be honest about the fact that the system itself isn't set up for everyone to win. Is it rigged? That's a big question, but it absolutely has rules that favor people who already have money. The first barrier is the shocking lack of financial education. In 2025, US adults, on average, could only answer about half of basic financial literacy questions correctly. A huge majority of adults feel that high school did not prepare them for managing money in the real world. This isn't an accident, it's a feature. The system runs on a population of consumers who don't understand compound interest, who sign loan agreements with bad terms, and who have no idea how to invest for their future. The second barrier is the massive split between wages and productivity. Since the late 1970s, workers have become incredibly productive. We're more efficient and create more value than ever before. But have our paychecks kept up? Not even close. Economic data clearly shows that while productivity has soared, the real wages for the average worker have stayed almost flat. This means that even though you're making more for your company, a smaller and smaller piece of that pie is coming back to you. The profits are flowing up to executives and shareholders, the owners of capital. This isn't just a theory, it's a statistical fact. You're running faster on the treadmill, but the treadmill itself keeps speeding up. That's why so many people feel like they're working harder than their parents but are actually falling behind. Understanding these barriers isn't about making excuses. It's about knowing the rules of the game you're in so you can finally learn how to win. So, how do you escape these traps? How do you finally break free from that invisible script? It takes a conscious rebellion against the default path. You have to reverse the traps we just talked about. First, you have to declare war on the scarcity mindset by actively building an abundance mindset. Start by changing your information diet. Stop doom scrolling through endless cycles of fear and negative news. Instead, read books, listen to podcasts, and watch content from people who have already done what you want to do. Surround yourself with the idea that opportunity is everywhere and that you are more than capable of grabbing it. See money not as a source of anxiety, but as a tool for freedom. Second, you have to break the habits of debt and instant gratification. This means making a radical change to how you handle your money. The single best strategy is to pay yourself first. Before you pay a bill, before you buy groceries, before you spend a dime on anything else, you take a piece of your income, 10%, 15%, 20%, and you move it to your investments. Automate it. Have it sent to a brokerage account the day you get paid. This one move completely flips the script. Instead of saving what's left after you spend what's left after you save. It forces you to prioritize your future. Third, you have to beat the systemic barriers by building your own system. That starts with a commitment to lifelong financial education. You have to learn the language of money, investing, assets, liabilities, cash flow. Since the school system failed you in this, you have to become your own teacher. And you must start owning assets. You don't have to be rich to start. You can buy a low-cost index fund, like an S&P 500 ETF, with just a small amount of money. This lets you stop being just a worker and start being an owner. Instead of only making money from your labor, you start making money from your capital. Your money starts working for you 24/7. This is how you reclaim your share of all that productivity growth. You become one of the owners that the profits flow to. Breaking free isn't something that happens overnight. It's a process of rejecting the default path and choosing a new one, day after day. The brutal truth is that financial struggle is the default setting for most people. The invisible script is brilliantly designed to keep you as a debt-fueled consumer running on a treadmill for your entire life. But that does not have to be your reality. It all starts with rejecting the scarcity mindset that keeps you playing small. It continues by breaking the consumer debt habits that bleed your income dry. And it's cemented by understanding the rules of the system and building a plan to win through self-education and ownership. You have the power to tear up that old script and write a new one. A story of freedom, of ownership, and of abundance. It won't be easy, but it will absolutely be worth it. Watch my next video on my channel Wealth Saga. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs it.